So you're doing some 10 pulls on the current banner, and while you don't get a 5-star, you do get Magic Guide, which is a 3-star. So this is not the first 3-star weapon video that I've done. This is actually a really good weapon. There are some other 3-star weapons that you should have, you should keep, like Thrilling Tales, Harbinger of Dawn. There's several others, Bloodtainted Greatsword, which is great for EM for a 3-star weapon, Claymore. There are several good 3-star weapons that everybody should be keeping. Lock one, R5 it, just in case you need one of them. In this video, we are going to look at Magic Guide, what it does, and who it can be good for. So this does get up Elemental Mastery, as well as its passive, increasing damage against enemies affected by Hydro and Electro. So this is the third highest EM catalyst in the game, right behind the Radish Archon signature and Sac Frags. So if you have a character, which we'll talk about characters in a little bit, that needs EM that uses catalysts, and you don't have Nahida's signature, you don't have Sac Frags or an extra Sac Frags, then you can use Magic Guide. So real quick, we are going to show this weapon in action. We're going to throw it on our Radish. We're going to go into this domain. We're going to hit some enemies with her normal attacks and non-crit 261 with no other elements applied. As soon as we apply Hydro or Electro, it is going to jump up to like 330 to 400. So as you can see, it is immediately going to increase the damage by around a quarter. I think it's like 24% at R5. It is going to increase the damage by a quarter as soon as you introduce Electro or Hydro, plus on a character like Nahida, you're going to be getting aggravate and spread reactions whenever we have her use it with like Fischl. This weapon can be very, very good on Nahida if you do not have her signature or something like Sac Frags because of the EM, especially if you're using Nahida to buff the EM of your other characters, so like a Hyper Bloom or a Nilou Bountiful Core or something like that. This can be a very, very good option for Nahida if you don't have one of those other two weapons. She can also make use of the passive because of enemies affected by Electro. If you're using like on-field Sniper Nahida, then you can use this weapon with her as well. So after Nahida, we have somebody like Sucrose. Now Sucrose wants the EM because when you use her skill or her burst, she shares her EM with your other party members. So if you don't have Sac Frags, which is I think Sucrose's best weapon actually, for support, for EM support, then you can use like Magic Guide. Again, if you're gonna have her in a team with Hydro and Electro, then she can also use that passive. You can even use Sucrose as an on-field swirl driver. That's not like her true usefulness, but you definitely can do that, especially if you're going to be building her full EM, so that way she shares her EM with others. Then you can use her as an on-field swirl driver. She's not going to dislike the damage that she produces from the swirls. So this can be a very, very good option for Sucrose if you don't have something like R5 Sac Frags, which we did a video on Sac Frags a few days ago, weeks ago, something like that. Check it out here. Go check it out. Go scroll back and check it out. Now another character that's in this party on screen with Sucrose is going to be Yaimiko. Yaimiko can use this, especially if you're using her in like a Quicken team and you don't have something like the Widzith or her signature, then this can be an okay weapon. I think that she would actually enjoy this over something like Sac Frags because the passive would be better. Sure, you're going to be losing out on some EM between this and Sac Frags, but she can use this passive more than the passive from Sac Frags. So this can be very, very good. I actually like running Yaimiko as an on-field Hyper Bloom trigger. That team was very, very fun to me. And kind of like a Quicken Bloom with like Yaimiko, Nahida, Furina. That can be a very, very fun team. At least I enjoyed it. And you want to build as much EM on Yaimiko for that as you can, especially if you're going to be running her on field to trigger those Hyper Blooms. So this can be a very, very good option for Yaimiko. Next, we're going to have a character like Klee. Now, Klee can use this specifically, again, if you don't have something like Widzith, something that can do crit rate or crit damage, in a Vaporized team or an Overvape team. You can use this on somebody like Klee or Yanfei. They're going to be pretty similar, where you want the EM, you want your enemies always affected by either Hydro or Electro, so that way whenever Klee or Yanfei gets the vapes, it's going to be getting that 24 damage. She's going to be getting that 24% damage bonus. Now, last but not least, we are going to be talking about a true on-field Anemos Swirl driver, and that is going to be Heizo. So in this team, we are going to have Heizo built more for EM, probably like an all EM set Viridescent, which is currently on my Kazuha. then this weapon can actually be very, very good, especially if you are using him with Hydro and Electro characters, and it's going to be like a Swirl Taser team, kind of. We're still going to let C6 Farazan give him a buff to his Anemo damage, which he'll appreciate, but then he's going to have a lot of damage coming from the actual swirls versus his own Anemo attacks, right? At this point, we would be building him full EM like we were on Sucrose, so that way his swirling would be doing most of the damage. With this, you would have to have your enemies always afflicted with Hydro and or Electro, so that way you will always be doing swirl damage and not just Anemo damage, which you would be doing in like a Hazo Hyper Carry team. So that is going to be it for this video. Again, there are 3-star weapons that are worth keeping, are fucking leveling up, having as a backup. There are plenty of them out there. Thrilling Tales, Harbinger of Dawn, Blood-Tainted Greatsword. This weapon, just to name a few. So don't throw away all of those 3 stars. That is going to be it for this weapon. That is going to be it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.